So over the years, I've had a few videos on this channel in regards to social media and how especially Facebook can be dangerous if you don't both agree on how to handle things like exes, people that would still be interested in dating you, and those who would stalk you from years past and try to get your attention and message with you, etc., etc. We've all experienced something like that. And as you get older in my position, you just kind of have the idea of this is stupid. The fact that, somebody that they dated or I dated, I've had people reach out to me that I dated when I was 16, and you try to explain to people, hey, look, I'm in a committed monogamous relationship right now. This communication is inappropriate. Or sometimes you just hit the block button. Well, I got a message from a viewer who's seen these videos and wanted my opinion on a situation that they have. I'll paraphrase. Basically, when he got together with his new girlfriend, they both agreed, for the most part, to get rid of people on social media that they had dated before. Now, I've experienced this somewhat in my own life, and it's a tricky situation because you don't want to come across as overly controlling, but at the same time, you want to be treated the way, or you want to treat people the way you want to be treated, right? So I don't want, like I said, personally, I don't want somebody who I dated when I was 16 sliding into my DMs and being like, hey, remember me? I don't want somebody doing that to me. I don't want somebody doing that to my girlfriend. So in this situation, what ended up happening is everybody but one person has been respectful of their wishes. Now, this one person is somebody that the woman only dated for a couple of months in high school. They did go to prom together, but then after that, there's not been any dating. There's no contact. There's not been any reason for this person to hunt her down, which is exactly what's happened. So initially, what she did was she blocked him on Facebook, which for the most part, I've done that myself. The girl that reached out to me when I dated her when I was 16 years old. She reached out to me. I just blocked. I didn't respond. It's just not worth the grief and aggravation. So that's what she did. Now, apparently, this has not gotten the message through to this guy. So a few months ago, we found out that the man had actually contacted her brother saying, hey, how's she doing? Do you know do you know what the situation is? Then, when that didn't get anywhere, the man now has reached out to her daughter. And so my friend that emailed me is actually a friend of mine. He doesn't really know what to do because, as a man, there's two different sides to this, right? So you don't want to step on anybody's toes, right? Now, some of you might say, well, shouldn't the woman just communicate this to the man? I kind of feel like the block button did that, right? If somebody blocks me on Facebook, like if somebody that I went to high school with blocks me, I'm not going to be trying to contact their family members to find out, well, hey, what's going on here? Why am I blocked? So I kind of feel like the block button was the communication. Now, this man that is reaching out to her is also married for 30 years. So this is another thing I see a lot with married people. We've all seen it, right? You get a little bored in your relationship. You think about so and so from whenever, and you look them up on Facebook, and there they are. And so the man is married. He's reached out to the girl initially. She blocked him. Then reached out to the brother. And now, when that didn't pay off dividends, is reached out to the daughter. Now, the question, of course, is, well, at what point does he need to step in? At what point? How long should this go on where this man from her past is continuing to reach out to her family to try to just kind of get in and talk with her and everything? And so here's what I'll say. The first thing I'll say is you have to tread lightly because be grateful that she's telling you that this is happening. Let's give the woman credit here, right? Okay, she blocked him. All right, that's a good sign. She's obviously hasn't reached out to him. If the man is contacting the brother and the daughter, that's another good sign. Okay, So let's give some credit there. And she's also, she's telling him, hey, look, this guy he's still interested. He still won't take no for an answer. Now, his direct question for me was, Jaws, how long do I let this go? How long do I let this go? Now, for me, it's a delicate situation. Um, Personally, if it was me, I think the three strikes and you're out type of situation, right? You reached out to the girl, you reached out to the brother, now you're reaching out to the daughter. It's at some point a man-to-man conversation seems like what would be appropriate. Now, of course, you could, if your friend requests this guy and he ignores you, you're kind of stuck there, right? But you may find another guy is willing to engage in that type of conversation, but it's not really so likely. Now, what my friend asked was, hey, how long do I let this go on? Like, he's messing with my relationship. Is it even Steven if I contact his wife and mess with his? Um, as there's the both sides of my manhood are firing off when I think about that. As a full-blooded male, right? I do understand the idea of, hey, look, man, if you're trying to mess with with my stuff, what's fair is fair. Um, I don't know if I would make that the first thing. I don't know that I would just immediately go to the wife and be like, hey, what's going on. I could see how emotion might get the best of you and you think, I'm just going to take care of this. But if your woman, if she's still communicating this with you, you don't want to blow things up. I would reach out to the guy. I would either friend request them. You could attempt to send a message, but if it's just Facebook, it's just going to go to the message request center, so you won't really know if he gets it. Although I guess if he stops reaching out, you'll know. That would be my first course of action. Would just be friend request the guy, and then give him an opportunity to be like, hey, dude, like, she blocked you, like that. That should do it, right? That should be that's the respectful thing, right? If I mean if she blocks you, okay, now you've reached out to the brother, now you've reached out to the daughter, now you get me, right? Like, now reach out to me. Why don't you tell me what exactly it is that your intent is, right? Because you've been blocked. That should have been all the communication. So I feel like if I'm answering the question, considering the fact that she's not, that your girlfriend is communicating it to you, and that she's obviously not reached out to them, she's not doing anything behind your back, right? You have to give some points there for that. I would simply reach out to the man on Facebook and then go from there. See what his demeanor is. See what why are you like this. Was the man that reached out to me is a little bit younger than me, but it's still been quite some time since they were in high school. So this is something that's at least it's been at least 20 years. You know what I mean? It's like, what is the situation here? And the thing about it is they're public on both of their profiles that they're married. They're public about it. So it's not a situation where he doesn't know where she's living, or he doesn't know anything. Like, it's right there. Their Facebook profile is very easy to tell. So when I heard the story, I was like, boy, I've kind of lived this one. Not exactly this scenario, but I've kind of lived it in my previous relationship, where there was a lot on both sides. On both sides, there was a lot of past activity trying to come in, and it can cause a problem, especially if you have somebody who's going to hide it. And that's the last thing I'll say is, she's not hiding it. She's not hiding it. So that's where you're good, right? You don't want to overreact. You don't get mad at her, right? You don't want to overreact because she can't help it. Like, she blocked him, right? So it's not her fault. Guys reaching out to the brother, reaching out to the daughter. She didn't do anything wrong. So you don't want to overreact and make it so that she doesn't want to tell you when these things come up. But at the same point, like, what's the line? Like three strikes, right? Like, there's nobody else. I guess I don't know if the mother is still alive. So I don't know. I don't know him well enough to know that. Um, so that's what I would do. Look, you reached out to my girl. Now you reach out to her brother. Now you reach out to her daughter. What's up? Let's have a man to man conversation. What's going on, man? All right, because like she married, everything's good. We're all happy. She obviously doesn't want to communicate with you. That would be my advice, to go from there. And then if it goes poorly, if it goes poorly and you're dealing with somebody who's like, I don't care what you say, I'm going to reach out to her, I want to, then you might have to pull the, well, what would your wife think about that card? Generally speaking, that's not going to happen, because usually married men who are reaching out to exes from decades ago don't want their wives to know. You know what I mean? So I suspect there's a good chance that he would get the friend request, right? He would get the friend request. He would see who it is and might just say, oh, okay, they're on to me, and like disappear at that point. The friend request itself might be enough to temper things down. I would hope so, because at some point it becomes a big disrespect problem. And to those of you real quick who would say, well, how come the girl doesn't just reach out and tell the guy, like, hey, blah, 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 I'm not interested, like leave me alone. I suppose that is an option, but I mean, she blocked him, right? I kind of feel like that's already been communicated. So let me know your thoughts in the comments. This one, like I said, I've had multiple videos on this channel about Facebook. I've had my own. We all have, right? If you're over the age of 35, 40, and have been in relationships, we've all had that one person, or on whoever it is, that you used to date, or you had the girl that reached out to me, when I say we dated when I was 16, I mean, 2 months, 2 months, maybe, right? And so it's not healthy. It's not healthy all the way around. So I'm curious what your opinion on that is. Leave a comment. Let me know what's your advice for my buddy there. Should he just continue to roll with it and let it happen? Do you contact the guy? Are any of you like, screw that, just contact the wife? I'm curious to hear your opinions on this, because I have very strong feelings about Facebook and social media and relationships in general. So I'm just curious what you guys think. All right, I'll see you in the next one.